Welcome to this video where I'm reviewing my 1957 Omega Seamaster manual wind caliber 420 with an extremely unique tropical dial and obviously the iconic beads of rice bracelet. And if you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into what this watch represents. So the Omega Seamaster comes out in 1948. Omega releases the Seamaster to celebrate 100 years of Omega, and the major thing that the Seamaster had in those days was it had an O-ring at the back. So the case back had an O-ring, which meant it was sort of waterproof to about 10 to 30 meters, maybe. Not really significant. So say waterproof to about 50 feet. But that was a very big deal for those days, because in those days watches really weren't waterproof. Now, the Seamaster then sees, as Omega starts getting more popular and the economy comes back in many countries in the 1950s, Omega sees a huge demand in their watches, and this particular version uses a movement that comes out in 1952, which is the caliber 420. That is essentially the enlargement of their 200 series handwound movements. So the 400 series handwound movement has a slightly larger movement than the 200 series, and there's lots of Omegas that come out in the 50s, but the Omegas that come out, I think I really have to remember when this was. I think this is 56 or 57. This was originally painted black, which is why you can see the text is actually golden, because this was a black dialed watch with gilt text on it. I am the second owner of this watch. This came to me from the person who bought it originally in 1956 or 57. And when they bought it, they were expecting that the black dialed watch that they got was going to stay black for a very long time. But what Omega had done is they had used an anti-oxidizing compound with the black paint on this, which turned out to be the exact opposite of oxidizing, and it gave this wonderful patina that is brownish, bronzish, goldish, you name the color, you can see it within a certain color range. Now on the internet you will find lots of fake tropical dials, which basically are painted brown dials. And yes, you can take a black dial and through a chemical reaction, you can make it a flat brown dial. But a true tropicalized dial also comes with patina. So you can see some level of corrosion on this, and you can see flecks of metal. And that's really what makes the patina and the tropicalized dial so rare, because most of these watches you'll find a rusted dial. They may say it's patina, but it's nothing but rust. Well, all patina is rust, but if you see flecks of rust, kind of like freckles, that's just a bad dial. And getting a good dial is a very, very hard thing to do. Now this watch, because I got it from the original owner, this also comes with this fabulous beads of rice bracelet with the extension. Let's get that opened. There you go. So as you can see, the idea was if you were a diver, you could wear the watch over your diving suit, or if your hand swelled during the day, the wrist, you could make it larger or you could make it smaller. And that's really a beautiful detail that this particular bracelet has. Now in case you're looking to buy one of these bracelets, These are very rare. These are extremely rare. So be careful of what you buy, because most bracelets that you get on eBay are actually fake bracelets. They're just not the real thing. So remember, the real thing had solid end links. Pretty big deal for 1956. Remember, a solid end link bracelet. And this has the iconic 7 across. The beads of rice, and those of you who know, I was actually for Vacheron, Constantin, and I forget the other brand, maybe Audemars. And they, I think Gay Frere came out with it in the 1940s, who designed the Royal Oak bracelet for AP in the 1970s, same person. And by the 50s, every watch manufacturer ended up having their own version of the beads of rice. They kind of look like rice beads. And I think one of the most popular ones is the Omega beads of rice version. The movement in this, the caliber 420, has about a 48-hour power reserve. And obviously, remember, every single 1950s Omega came with a clover leaf crown. Let's see if you can get a focus on this. There you go, that's the clover leaf crown. So if you have an Omega that does not come with a clover leaf crown from this age, you've probably got somebody who replaced the crown. Similarly, the lugs are the iconic lugs that you would be seeing in all Omegas of the 1950s, even though I have some with the narrower lugs. And this movement has about a 48-hour power reserve, which is pretty impressive for a movement that is really 70 years old now, because this comes out first in 1952. It has 17 jewels, and I think it's about 18,000 beats per hour, so it's not a particularly smooth seconds hand. But in those days, you really didn't have exceptionally high beat movement. High beat movements really start coming about in the 1960s. There is obviously some corrosion on the hands, but the stainless steel is in great shape, and that's fine. The key part is the text, and the minute markers are all intact, and it has that beautiful gilt shine which contrasts perfectly with the tropical dial. So I have a lot of Omegas, but I thought I would just touch upon this since this is now in rotation. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you on another video.